Given the focus is the ordered pair 1, comma, negative 35 fourths, and the directrix is the equation y equals negative 37 fourths. That's the equation of a horizontal line. They want us to find a bunch of stuff: the vertex, the axis, the x-intercepts, the y-intercept, and the sketch. Okay, so we'll start with start sketch. Solution. Step 1. Start sketch. We're going to finish the sketch at the end, but we're starting it now for information. So we see that this is the x-axis, this is our y-axis, and the number 1 is located here, and we have an ordered pair at 1, comma, negative 35 fourths. Now, where is negative? I'm not really concerned exactly where it's at because this is a very rough sketch. So let's just go down here and say that this is negative 35 fourths on the y-axis. So the ordered pair 1, negative 35 fourths is approximately at this location, and that is the location of our focus F. And the directrix is just a little bit lower than the negative 35 fourths. The directrix is located on the y-axis at negative 37 fourths. Directrix, and that was given to be y equals negative 37 fourths, the horizontal line. Okay, so we've got lots of information here. We have to decide where the focus is, where the vertex is, and is it opening happy face or sad face. Okay, just a rough sketch. On the y-axis, between negative 35 fourths and negative 37 fourths, somewhere in between, is going to be the vertex. So somewhere approximately here is going to be my v value. Oh, excuse me, it's not on the y-axis. My bad. It's right below the focus, so it's down here to the side there. All right, that's going to be my vertex, and we know that it has to wrap around its focus, so we know it's going to be opening something like this. We don't know exactly how it's going to open. This is a rough sketch, okay? So it looks approximately like this, and since it has to wrap around its focus, that implies that we have a happy face, and that tells us lots of stuff. Happy face. You know what we know when we know that it's a happy face? That implies that the A value is positive. It also implies that the P value is positive. So there's something we know. And we'll take that information and move on to the next step. Step 2 is where we're going to actually find the A value and the P value. All right, so what do we know? We know that the absolute value of P is going to be equal to the absolute value of half the distance between negative 35 fourths and negative 37 fourths. So it's 1/2 times the difference between, let's put the negative 37 fourths first, and then subtract the negative 35 fourths. And we demonstrated that in the sketch. So this is the P distance. Just let me remind you, the sketch is not all that accurate, but remember the P distance is the distance from the vertex up to the focus and the vertex down to the directrix. So I didn't make it exactly where it should be, but that was a very rough sketch. Now we're finding something more precise. So that's equal to the absolute value of 1/2, and then negative 37 plus 35, because of the double negative, gives us over 4. It simplifies to negative 2 over 4. The 2's will cancel, and that equals the absolute value of negative 1 over 4. And that tells us that the absolute value of P is going to be equal to, what is the absolute value of a negative? It's a positive of 1/4. But does that tell us what P is? We need to know what P is, and we already know. And because we have established that we have a happy face parabola, because in the picture we saw that it wraps around its focus, so it was happy face, that implies that my P value itself will be positive 1/4. Okay, so we found the P value. Now let's find the A value. Also, using the formula that A is equal to 1 over 4 times P, that's a formula we want to remember, that implies that our A value is equal to 1 over 4 times positive 1 over 4. Now the 4's cancel on top and bottom, we get 1 over 1, so that tells us that the A value is equal to positive 1. And that takes us to step 3, which we will continue on the next video.